Hi everyone! I hope you are all doing well despite the craziness that's happening, and I hope you are all adjusting to online learning and being inside of your homes. This is a new and strange experience, but that's okay because we will get through it with God. Now, before we jump right into things, there is a fill in the blank handout attached that goes along with this video. I recommend filling it out as the presentation goes on because it'll make your lives so much easier. There will also be two simple discussion questions at the end that you can answer on the Moodle page. All right, let's get started. Today I will be discussing the topic of restorative justice. But first, we must figure out what is it? Restorative justice is a form of conflict resolution. It is used in schools, in prisons, or really anywhere that conflict arises. According to Woolfolk, on pages 542, restorative justice focuses on building, nurturing, and repairing relationships while giving a voice to victims, offenders, and the community. It's really a facilitated discussion between the people involved. This is a way to solve problems before they escalate into something much bigger and much messier. In an academic journal, I also read that restorative justice is an alternative to using punishment to maintain misbehavior. So instead of suspension or detention or anything that involves punishment, restorative justice would be a better option and helps to actually improve the student's behavior and their character. I've been seeing this more and more on social media, specifically on Twitter because it is proven to be effective. Next, we're going to discuss who is involved in a restorative justice circle. First, it involves the victim, the person who has been hurt, the offender, who does the hurting, and the community or school in this case. The community includes a teacher, a counselor, friends, sometimes the principal, and sometimes family members depending on how big the issue is. Of course, there can be more than one victim and more than one offender. The restorative justice circle really just includes all those who have been impacted. Alright, what are the rules? First, everyone is in a circle. This is so important because when we sit in a circle, we experience a stronger sense of community. Circles bring people together to talk about the issues and resolve the conflict. The second rule is speaking can only occur if they are holding the talking piece. The teacher who is facilitating enforces these rules and keeps the peace without the circle. The teacher also asks the questions and they make sure that people are listening to one another and respecting one another. Now back to the talking piece. A talking piece can literally be anything. It could be an eraser, a teddy bear, a water bottle, a shoe, or whatever you want it to be, but it is important that there is one available. The great advantage of a talking piece going around the circle is that each and every student knows that they will have a chance to put their voice into the center and to be seen by others. No one else can talk while another person is speaking. And then again, it is up to the teacher or the facilitator to enforce those rules and make sure that everyone is respecting each other. Now we're just going to watch a quick video.
We're here today because we all were in somewhat impacted a part of the incident that happened in the cafeteria yesterday. So I want us to give y'all a space for us to address that and speak up the harm that was done and like what do we need to kind of move forward. Because it definitely had an impact on us as individuals, but us as a community. So let's address that. So right here I have a talking piece in which it allows everybody to just have a voice, right? And we kind of respect that within this space, that person that has the talking speed has the floor at that time. Ensure that everybody's being attentive and listening, respecting the circle. I'm going to pose a couple of questions, and each of y'all could address this question. You don't have to. Sometimes it's just best to be an ear than a voice, so there's no pressure in doing just that. Okay, so the first question I pose to you all is just, can you describe the harm that was done, any harm that was done yesterday, or how it impacted you or our community in any way?
I'm frustrated because everyone feels that their issue is everyone else's issue. Like, I came to school to learn and get my education.
I was put in an uncomfortable position. They were my friends. If I jumped in, I'll get suspended, and I can't get another suspension.
When things like this happen, I just feel like there's no point in coming to school. It's a waste of time.
I feel mad and sad because the fight now ruined our whole school day, man. Like, now everyone's gonna talk about it in school.
I see a lot of drama outside of school, and I just wish school was just a safe place, and it doesn't feel like it.
This gets any worse.
It sounds like we really care about each other in our community, and I heard people say, like, I want to graduate with you. And so in moving forward, thinking about that, like, how do we hold each other up? Rashad spoke about this programming. What does that look like? Who's going to lead that? And when I'm sitting in this room, I see all of these leaders around the circle who really care about their community and keeping it safe. Even someone who the other day might not have been seen as a leader, who today can be. So just moving forward, I want you guys to think about that.
Okay, so a couple key points from the video is that every person that was talking did have the talking piece, and everyone's voice was heard. I think a solution was found just because the teacher at the end made sure to kind of wrap up everything and give them something to think about. Also, a solution is one of the most important aspects of a restorative justice circle, because if there is no solution, then the discussion would be completely unnecessary and there would be no point to it. Finally, a restorative justice circle must end in an agreement from both sides. This is very important because it prevents further conflict from happening. All right, some final notes about this. A restorative justice circle does take time and effort. It's not just a 5-minute thing, it's not just a 10-minute thing. This can literally go from 30 minutes to maybe an hour depending on the severity of the situation. So because of that, teachers and those involved need to be patient and diligent in finding a solution and listening to each side of the story. Also, it is very vital that teachers do not choose sides. Some teachers do have favorites, but you shouldn't let them know that. You shouldn't choose sides because it could really ruin the community and the relationship between the students, and it would make the conflict even worse. And also, restorative justice rebuilds community and it restores harmony within a classroom setting. Alright, so here are the discussion questions. Number 1, would you use restorative justice in your classroom? If so, when would it be acceptable for it to be used? And if not, why wouldn't you use restorative justice? The second question is, what are the pros and cons of restorative justice circles? Alright, here's my references. And I wanted to thank you all for listening. If you have any questions or concerns, or if I just wasn't thorough enough in the explanations, please shoot me an email. My email's right in the bottom left corner. Thank you for listening and watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.